I lost thousands of dollars trying to catch reversals because they seem like the biggest moves to catch. Fast forward 5 years down the line, I have now been able to develop a proper strategy around how to see when a reversal is coming in the market, all backed up by live data as well as backtested data that I've used over the years. And this has enabled me to be able to not take a career-ending move of calling tops and bottoms, which normally ends up in misery. So if you want to know how to accurately catch reversals, that's exactly what we're going to discuss in this video. So sit back, enjoy, and let's get it. All right, so what we're going to break down today is where price normally reverses and why. Why do we have reversals? Why is it useful? Second of all, how to identify if it's about to reverse, and also what's exactly the setup we want to see to be able to catch these reversals. Those are the three essential topics you need to know to be able to master reversals in the market. But first, let's get into the topic of looking at how to identify potential reversal zones. So I have this chart in front of me. This is gold. It works on any pair, and most people think that reversal is going to happen on higher time frames, which is somewhat true. But when we are day trading, looking for a reversal on intraday time frames, meaning from as low as 5, 15, 30 minute, 1 hour, the main time frames we're going to be using is the 4 hour and the daily time frame. Okay, so what are we going to be looking for? We're going to be looking for support. So essentially what you see here, these supports are going to be potential reversal zones, and so are these resistances. Now, to identify a support and resistance is extremely simple. You look at current price and you look what is left, you'll be able to identify. So most of the time on daily and 4 hour time frame, if we've had a previous support here, price is most likely going to reverse from a support that was previously made, or maybe there was a daily support here, right? And we reverse from here. Price is most likely going to reverse from these zones. Same as this. If this was a daily resistance, that's the zone we're most likely going to reverse from because we've reached a target. Okay, and how do you identify that? It's very easy. You're going to look for a high that was made. You'll be able to see the shift, right? So let me show you a few examples here. If we take this example here, okay, and I also want to show you how previous levels do matter as well. So we're going to rewind to this stage here where we broke out, and this was our major support zone here. You can see all of these supports. Now, the more taps it has, the stronger it becomes, and these are going to be your support zones. And normally you see how this is moving up. Price could reverse from any one of these, but when you have two next to each other like this, it makes it a stronger support, and this kind of becomes a group. So this becomes a group of supports, and we kind of mark it like this accurately on the bottom, not like a box. A lot of people mark things as a box, but what are we going to do? It's a whole box, man. I want to be accurate as possible. So to mark it accurately, you want to go and mark individually each of these, and these are going to be all your potential reversal zones. So if we were to fast forward here and actually see what happens on the charts, you can see here, if I just start to go forward, we make a high, we start to move down. Look at the first bounce zone, right? We first react of this, we started to get a reversal. Right? If we were to measure how big from this, just this 1 4 hour support, you can see how do we know it's a support? Because there's a bullish candle, there's a bearish candle followed by a bullish candle made the support. And if we look back here, it was even previous resistance, right? You can see we have all these levels here in the past. Just that little zone created a reversal worth 190 pips. Now, if you've been trading for a little bit, you'll understand 190 pips is definitely tradable on lower time frame. And we know that because we can map that on the charts, which is why doing your markup is very important. I have plenty of videos how to mark your daily support and resistances. Literally those lines that I show in every single one of my YouTube videos, every video. And you guys keep saying, stop showing us how to mark up. I will keep showing you because it's useful for every concept. Every concept is useful, and it's useful for this because at one of your lines, your daily line, your 4 hour line, those are all potential reversal zones. So what do we want to see from those zones? So actually, let me continue with this. I want to actually show you how we come down to the bottom of this range and how we reject here in this example. So we make our way down. You can see how all these zones are becoming reversed, and we react, especially if we close below one like this, we won't react. Check out the reaction from this zone here. Remember, there's a concept that is called support flip resistance or resistance flip support. It's a very basic concept, but we'll go through it a little bit. If you have a resistance that was made, if price comes back, that can act as a support, right? Or a potential reversal zone. Same thing. If you have a support that was made like this, that can act as a potential resistance. This is what happened here. There was a resistance made, we pushed through, we rejected off of there, reversal zone. And when we came back in the past, Look where we reject from, perfectly from there. Look at the reversal. This led us into 400 pip reversal. So you can see how powerful these 4-hour zones are itself. And we haven't even touched the daily. You can do the exact same thing on the daily time frame and find these same type of zones. You see this here on the daily. It's probably where we're going to reject from if I was to skip a little bit more, right? We reject from either this zone here or the daily support, right, which is down there. And that's the exact zone that I was drawing that we actually close the candle and reject from, right? From the daily support, right? Because that was our zone. Yes, we wick down here. That can happen. We can go lower, of course. We're talking about a daily. But the zone we rejected on the daily in terms of daily time frame close was there. So we're looking for our daily support and resistance, and these are going to create our potential rejection zone. And most of your trades are not going to be right from the bottom of the wick and closing right at the top of the wick that you see on Instagram every day, right? Those are just people flexing positions that probably are not repeatable most of the time for you. Because have you tried to do that? How often does it work? Look at the real results. Look at backtesting results. Look what people are actually showing you. For me, I live stream daily on a basis showing how I trade every single day, showing you that it's not always about picking the bottom and calling the top. It's not going to make you profitable. But understanding where price can reverse and using that to your advantage is extremely advantageous. So here's the steps. We want to see some type of rejection. A 4-hour candle closing bullish is going to tell us that a rejection is taking place. We can actually immediately from there start looking for buys. But what if we want to be more accurate? We could actually be a little bit more accurate and not wait for the 4-hour close. So what we're going to do not to wait for the 4-hour close is that we're going to go down onto the lower time frames, 30-minute and 15-minute more importantly. Okay, and what we need to start to see, you just need to understand basic market structure. The second thing you need is you need there to be some higher time frame candle closing bullish. So let's say you're looking for a buy setup, right? Trying to catch a reversal and you're looking for a buy. You need that previous daily to be closing bullish, or you need the 4-hour. One of those candles have to close bullish. Otherwise, you're buying in a downtrend. Just sell. You're better off to look for sell setups. Don't be buying. But let's say previous daily close bullish and now you were pulling back. Now you can say, okay, I'm going to try look for a buy here, especially when we're at what? 4-hour support. So we know this is our 4-hour support zone right here, right? So we're sitting at a prime zone to buy. We're sitting at a prime zone to buy. This is an ideal zone to buy. Boom, right here. We know this is our 4-hour support. Now what do we have? Look at market structure. Lower high, lower high. This is a low. We didn't make a lower low yet. Now we make a lower low, lower high, lower high, lower low. Guess what? Congratulations. We are in a downtrend, right? Lower highs and lower lows are a downtrend. Higher highs and higher lows are an uptrend. So all we need is just to see that trend stop. That's going to give us an indication that, hey, maybe it's time to start moving bullish. So all you do is wait for a break of structure. Where's your break of structure going to come? Exactly above your last high. That's your last high. Let's zoom in on this. So you need a candle closing above, not wicking. I need a candle to close above to confirm a break of structure. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to look for a confirmation of break of structure. And that's going to start to entice you into a potential reversal. So there's your break of structure. That candle closed above. Now we're ready for buys. So all you have to do is wait for a buy setup and you will be off to the races there. Okay. So in this scenario, the best buy setup here was actually this one here. This is one of the setups that we discussed. And that's actually the next part and the final part of this video is how do you actually enter these setups at these zones. So I want to use a real life example, which is going to be better. So here's an example in front of me. I want you to focus on what line this is. Now this is a little bit, I know I spoke about 4-hour and daily, but obviously it does work on higher time frames. And that's why I use this example, because I want to show you something that's a little bit more, not advanced, but a little bit more showing you that you don't only have to use daily and 4-hour, but they're the best. Okay. PWS. I want you to focus on PWS. PWS stands for previous weekly support. So that means we had a weekly and it was a support like this, and now we're coming back to that weekly support, previous weekly support. So obviously this is a rejection zone. Not only that, we're at the top of the range as well. So I could be looking for potential reversals from this zone. This is a trade I took live from my journal here. I took this in my journal April 9th. So this is a trade I actually took live on my live streams, which you guys can join every London session. Just subscribe to the channel and leave a like on this video if you're enjoying so far. And You can see this is the live stream here. We're going to watch a bit of that, how the trade played out. You can see I was holding drawdown, not always smooth, but I want you to see the idea. So we reach previous weekly support. I know that's my rejection zone. I get my rejection candle, which is this one candle. Now this is a 5-minute time frame because I'm trading DAX, which is the German exchange, but normally you want that 15-minute that I was showing you. Then we get a bullish candle and that change of structure. You see that change of structure? That's the change of structure from that zone. Closes below, my entry is break of low, stop loss above the candle that closed below. That is known as my setup one. I have plenty of videos on my channel. Make your way through that. And I target in this instance a 1-to-1. And that is essentially my trade there. That is my trade. That is my trade. So we're going to watch it back. I'll just skip through it there. Entered there, held a bit of drawdown, started to push nicely. And then boom, TP was hit there. So you can see very clean trade, reversal from previous weekly support. And then, yeah, basically was a beautiful little setup here. You know, ended up continuing down a little bit later and then kind of just slowed down in volume. But what I want to show you is how we even retested here previous weekly support with these candles. So a nice little setup showing you how to look for reversals, but I'm not calling a top. I'm just taking a trade from a zone that has probability. So putting all these steps together is what's going to be fundamental. And then the small stuff is where you have to improve on, get feedback, receive feedback, apply the feedback, and then get better. And that's exactly what I do every single day when I trade live with my guys in the exclusive group. They're sending me feedback. I'm reviewing their trades. And now every single week on our webinars, I'm asking them to send me 5 trades. I review their trades to see if their wins were good wins, if their losses were good losses, because sometimes a lot of people, they'll try blame you for a loss, but sometimes you take a loss that is just part of probability. So that is very important. And if you want to get direct access to me and speak to me in a basis and be part of a community where everyone's working together towards the same goal, which is the environment you should be in, and that is the real satisfaction where we all push each other to get better. So I do hope you enjoyed my content and enjoy my free content. If you would want a little bit more of a faster route, all options are there for you. I appreciate you listening to the end of the video. Been a pleasure to have you on this video. Let me know in the comments what you want to see more of. I'm always up for helping you guys, supporting you guys for free. With that being said, take care, trade sharp, and hopefully catch you guys very, very soon. Peace.